bestir! Hi, my hearts, cheerly, cheerly, my hearts! Yar, yar, take in the topsail! Tend to the master's whistle! Not till I burst my wind, if Rumina!
Good boatswain, have care! Where's the master born? Play them then!
I pray now, keep below!
How is the master, boatswain?
Do you not hear him, you mar our labor? Keep your cabins, you do assist the storm!
Nay, God be patient!
When the sea is, head! What cares these roars for the name of king? To cabin, silence, trouble us not.
God, remember thou hast board.
None that I more love than myself. You are a counselor. If you can command these elements of trouble and work the peace of the present, we will not tend to row more. Use your authority. If you cannot give thanks for you have lived so long and make yourself ready in your cabin for the mischance of the hour, if it so happen.
I have great hope from this matter. He thinks he has no ground lock upon him. So let yourself be down. God, God, good faith was hanging. Let us come to the death of your cable. If we be not born and hang, our case is miserable.
Down with the topmast! Yar, lower, lower! Bring her to try with main course! A plague upon this howling! They are louder than the weather or our office! Yet again, what do you hear? Shall we give her a drown? Have you a mind to sing?
A box on your throat, you bawling, blasphemous, and charitable dog!
Work you there!
Hang, car! Hang, you horse and insolent noise maker! We are less afraid to be drowned than thou art!
All Warrington for ground, or the ship with us storming in that shall we just run sad way.
Lay her a hold! A hold! Set her 2 courses! Off to sea again! Lay her off!
All lost, to prayers, all lost!
What? Must our mouths be cold?
The king has preached the prayers, lest distant bar cases bad.
I'm out of patience. We are merely cheated on our lives by drunkards. This swine chapped rascal. Would thou might lie drowning the washing of 10 times?
Every hang duet, every drop of blood, swear gates and gave it one. Mercy on us! We split, we split! Farewell, my wife and children! Farewell, brothers! We split, we split, we split!
Let's take leave of it.
Now will I give 1,000 furlongs of sea for an acre of barren ground. Long heath, brown, third, anything. The will of the pulse be done, but I would fain die a dry death.
It's by your art, my dearest father. You put the wild waters in this roar. Allay them. The sky, it seems, would pour down stinging pitch, so that the sea, mounting to the welkin's cheek, dashes the fire out. Oh, I have suffered with those I saw suffer. A brave vessel had no doubt some noble creature, and it dashed all to pieces. Cry did knock against my very heart. Poor souls, they perished. Had I been any god of power, I would have sunk the sea within the earth, whereat should the good ship's soul have swallowed, and the frauding souls within her.
Be collected. No more amazement. Tell your piteous heart there's no harm done.
Oh, woe the day.
No harm. I have done nothing but in care of thee. Thee, my dear one. Thee, my daughter. What ignorant of what thou art. Not knowing whence I am. Nor that I'm more better than Prospero. Master of a full Porcel. And thy no greater, father.
More to know to never meddle with my thoughts.
'Tis time I should inform thee, father. Lend thy hand and pluck my magic garment from me. So lie there, my art. Wipe thou thine eyes. Have comfort. The direful spectacle of the rack, which touched the very virtue of compassion in thee, I have, with such provision in mine art, so safely ordered that there is no soul, no, not so much as an hair, better to any creature in the vessel which thou heardst cry, which thou sawst sink. Sit down, for thou must now know farther.
You have often begun to tell me what I am, but have stopped and left me to a bootless inquisition, concluding stay, not yet.
The hour has now come. The very minute bid thee ope thine ear. Obey and be attentive. Canst thou remember a time before we came into this cell? I do not think thou canst, for then thou wast not out 3 years old.
Certainly, sir, I can.
By what? By any other house or person? Of anything the image tell me that hath kept with thy remembrance?
'Tis far off, and rather like a dream than an assurance that my remembrance warrants. Had I not 4 or 5 women attended me?
Thou hadst and more, Miranda. But how is it that this lives in thy mind? If thou rememberest aught ere thou comest here, how thou comest here thou mayest.
But that I do not.
12 years since, Miranda. 12 years since. Thy father was the Duke of Milan, the Prince of Power.
Sir, not you, my father?
Thy mother was a piece of virtue, and she said thou wast my daughter. Thy father was the Duke of Milan, and his only heir, a princess no worse issued.
Oh, the heavens, what foul played we that we came from thence? Or blessed was we did?
Both, my girl. By foul play, as thou sayest, were we heaped thence. But blessedly hope hither.
My heart bleeds to think of the teen I have turned you to, which is from my remembrance. Please you, father.
My brother and thy uncle, called Antonio, I pray thee mark me, that a brother should be so perfidious. He whom next thyself of all the world I loved, and to him put the manage of my state. And to my state I grew stranger, being transported and wrapped in secret studies. Thy false dost thou attend me?
Sir, most heedfully.
Being once perfected, how to grant suits, how to deny them, who to advance and who to trash for overtopping, new created the creatures that were mine, set all hearts in the state to whom pleased his ear, and now he was the ivy that had hid in my princely trunk, and sucked my verdure out on it. Thou attendst not.
Oh, good sir, I do.
I pray thee mark me. I, thus neglecting worldly ends, all dedicated to the bettering of my mind. And in my brother awakened an evil nature, he being thus lorded not only with what my revenues yielded, but what my power might else exact. He believed he was indeed the Duke, out of the substitution and executing the outward face of royalty with all prerogative. Hence his ambition grown. Dost thou hear?
Your tale, sir, would cure deafness.
To have no screen between this part he played and him he played it for, he needs will be absolute Milan. Me, poor man, my library was dukedom large enough. Of temporal royalties he thinks me now incapable. Confederates, so dry he was full sway with the King of Naples. To give him tribute, do him homage, subject his coronet to his crown, and alas, bend the dukedom yet unbowed. Poor Milan, to most ignoble stooping.
Oh, the heavens.
Mark this condition and the event, then tell me if this might be a brother.
I should sin to think but nobly of my grandmother.
Now,
Good wombs have borne bad sons.
my brother, this King of Naples, being an enemy to me and Verderate, hearkens my brother's suit, which was that he should presently extirpate me and thine out of the dukedom, and confer fair Milan with all its honors upon my brother. Whereon one midnight did Antonio open the gates of Milan, and in the dead of darkness, the ministers for the purpose hurried thence me and thy crying self.
How came we ashore?
By providence divine, some fresh food we had and some water, which a noble Neapolitan Gonzalo out of his charity did give us, with rich linens, garments, stuffs, and necessaries which since have studied much. Also of his kindness, he furnished me with volumes of my library that I prize above my dukedom.
Would I might but ever see that man.
Now I rise. Sit still and hear the last of our sea sorrow. Here on this island we arrived, and have I, thy schoolmaster, made thee more profit than other princes can, which have more time for vainer hours, and tutors not so careful.
Heavens thank you for it. But I pray you, sir, for still 'tis beating in my mind your reason for raising this sea storm.
Know thus far forth, by accident most strange, divine fortune, now my dear lady, hath mine enemies brought to this shore. Yet here cease more questions. Thou art inclined to sleep. It is a good dullness, and give it way, for I know thou canst not choose. Come away, spirit, come. Ariel, I am ready for thee.
All hail, great master. Grave sir, hail, I come to attend to thy best pleasure, be it to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to ride on the cold clouds for thy strong fitting task, Ariel in all her quality.
Hast thou, spirit, performed to point the tempest that I bade thee?
To every article. I boarded the king's ship, now on the beak, now in the waist, the deck, in every cabin I flamed amazement. Sometime I divide and burn in many places. On the topmast, yards, and bowsprit, when I flame distinctly, then meet and join. Jove's lightnings, the precursors, the dreadful thunderclaps, more momentary and sight outrunning were not. The fire and cracks of the sulphurous roaring, the most mighty Neptune, seem to besiege and make his bold waves tremble, yea, his dread trident shake.
My brave spirit, yet who is so firm, oh so constant, that this coil would not infect his reason?
Not a soul, but felt a fever of the mad and played some tricks of desperation. All but mariners plunged into the foaming brine and quit the vessel, then all afire with me. And the king's son Ferdinand, with hair upstaring and like reeds, Not Hare was the first man that leapt and cried, "Hell is empty and all the devils are here!"
And that's my Ariel. But was this nice shore?
Close by, my master.
But are they? Ariel safe?
Not a hair perished. On their sustaining garments not a blemish, but fresher than before. And as thou badest me, in troops I have dispersed them about the isle. The king's son have I landed by himself, whom I left cooling over the air with sighs in an odd angle of the isle, and sitting, his arms in this sad knot.
Of the king's ship, the mariners say how thou hast disposed, and the rest of the fleet.
Safely in arbor is the king's ship. In the deep nook, where once thou calledst me up at midnight to fetch dew from the still vexed Vamoose, there she's hid. The mariners, all under hatches stowed, who with a charmed door into their suffered labor, I have left asleep. And for the rest of the fleet, which I dispersed, they have all met again, and are upon the Mediterranean float, bound sadly home for Naples, supposing that they saw the king shipwrecked and his great person perish.
Thy charge exactly is performed, but there's more work. What is the time of the day?
Past the mid-season.
At least 2 glasses. The time 'twixt 6 and now must by its both be spent more preciously.
Is there more toil, since thou dost give me pains? Let me remember thee of what thou hast promised, which is not yet performed me.
How now? Moody, what is it thou canst demand?
My liberty.
What? Before the time be out? No more.
I pray thee, remember I have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made no mistakings, so without grudge or grumblings. Thou didst promise to bait me a full year.
Dost thou forget from what a torment I did free thee?
No.
Thou dost, and think it much to tread the ooze of the salt deep, to run up against the sharp winds of the north, to do me business in the veins of the earth, when it is baked with frost.
I do not, sir.
Thou lies, malignant thing! Hast thou forgot the fowl which Sycorax, who with age and envy has grown into a hoop? Hast thou forgot her?
No, sir.
Thou hast. Speak, tell me, where was she born?
Sir, in Argia.
Or was she so? I must once in a month recount where thou hast been which thou forgettest. This fowl which Sycorax. For there was one thing she did, they would not take her life. Is not this true?
Aye, sir.
This blue-eyed hag was with a brought with child, left here by the sailors. Thou, my slave, as thou reportedst thyself, was then her servant. But being a spirit too delicate to act to earthly and abhorred commands, refusing her grand hests, she confined thee, by the help of her more potent ministers, and in her most unmitigable rage into a cloven pine, within which rift thou didst painfully remain a dozen years, within which space she died, and left thee there, without thou didst vent thy groans as fast as windmills strike. And then was this island, save for the sun that she did litter here, a freckled whelp hag-born, not honored with human shape.
Yes, Caliban, her son.
A dull thing, I say so, he that Caliban whom now I keep in service. But thou best know from what a torment I did free thee. Thy groans did make the wolves howl, and penetrate the breasts of ever-angry bears. It was a torment to lay upon the damned, which Sycorax could not again undo. It was mine art, when I arrived and heard thee, that made gape the pine and let thee out.
I thank thee, master.
If thou more murmurest, I will rend an oak, and peg thee in his naughty entrails, till thou hast howled away 12 winters.
Oh, pardon, master. I will be correspondent to command and do my spiriting gently.
Do so. And after 2 days I shall free thee.
Why, that's my noble master. What shall I do? Say what? What shall I do?
Go make thyself like a nymph of the sea. Be subject to no sight but mine and thine, invisible to every eyeball else. Go, hither cometh it, hence with diligence.
Judy!
Awake, dear heart, awake. Thou hast slept well, awake.
The strangeness of your story has put heaviness in me.
Shake it off. We'll visit Caliban, my slave, who never yields us kind answer.
As a villain, sir, I do not love to look on.
But as it is, we cannot miss him. He does fetch our wood, make our fire, and serve us in offices that do profit us. What ho! Slave Caliban, thou earth, thou speak!
There's wood enough with thee!
Come forth, I say, there's other business for thee. Come thou, Tertus, when? Ariel, hark in thine ear.
My lord, it shall be done.
Thy poisonous slave, got by the devil himself upon thy wicked dam, come forth!
As wicked do as ever my mother, brushed with raven's feather from unwholesome fen, drop on you both, a southwest blow on ye, and lister you all over.
For this, be sure tonight thou shalt have cramps. Sigh, bitches that shall pen thy breath up. Urchins shall, with the vast night that they may work all exercise on thee, thou shalt be pinched as thick as honeycomb, each pinch more stinging than the bees it's made of.
I must eat my dinner. But this island's mine by Sycorax, my mother, which thou takest from me. When thou camest first, thou strokest me and made much of me, wouldst give me water with berries in it, and teach me how to name the bigger light, and how the less that burn by day and night. And then I loved thee and showed thee all the qualities of the isle, the fresh springs, brine pits, barren place, and fertile. Well, cursed be that I did so. All the charms of Sycorax, toads, beetles, bats light on you. For I am all the subjects that you have, which first was mine own king. And here you do sign me in this hard rock, whilst you do keep from me the rest of the island.
Thou most lying slave, who strikes to move not kindness, I have used thee filth as thou art, and launched thee mine own self. Thou didst seek to violate the honor of my child.
Oh ho, wouldn't have been done. Thou didst prevent me. I had people else, this whole isle with calibans.
Hard slave, which any prince of goodness wilt not take, being capable of all ill. I pitied thee, took pains to make thee speak, taught thee each hour one thing or other. When thou didst not, savage, know thine own meaning, but was scamble like a thing most brutish. I endowed thy purpose with words to make them known. But thy vile race, though thou didst learn, had that in it which good natures could not abide to be with. Thus, which thou deservedly confined into this rock, who hast deserved more than a prison.
You taught me your language, and my profit on it is, I know how to curse. The Red Plague read you for learning me your language.
Hagseed, hence! Fetch us some fuel and be quick. Thou art best to answer other business. Shruggst thou, malice? If thou neglect'st, or dost unwillingly what I command, I'll rack thee with old cramps, fill all thy bones with aches, and make thee roar, that wolves shall tremble at thy din.
No, pray thee. I must obey. His art is of such power that it will control my damned god, Oedipus, and make a vassal of him.
So, slave, hence!
And take hands, curtsied when you have and kissed, the wild waves whist, footed featly here and there, and sweet sprites the burden bear. Hark, hark, now the watchdogs bark. Hark, hark, I hear the strain of strutting chanticleer cry, cock-a-doodle, deedle-dow.
Where should this music be? In the air or in the earth? It sounds no more, and surely rests upon some god of the earth. Sitting on a bank, weeping the king my father's death, this music crept by me along the water, allaying both its passion and my fury with its sweet, sweet air. Hence I have followed it, or rather it hath drawn me. But 'tis gone. No, it begins again.
Up by thy father lies, of his bones are coral made, those are pearls that were his eyes, nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer us in change into something rich and strange.
This ditty does remember my drowned father. This is no mortal business. No sound that the earth owes. I hear it now above me.
The fringed curtain of thine eye advance, and say what thou seest yon.
What is it, a spirit? Lord, how it looks about. Believe me, sir, it carries a brave form. But 'tis a spirit.
No, wench, it eats and sleeps, and hath such senses as we have such. He was a gallant which was lost in the wrack, but thou mightest call him a goodly person. He hath lost his fellows and strays about to find him.
I might call him a thing divine, for nothing natural I ever saw so noble.
It goes on, I see, as my soul prompts it. Spirit, fine spirit, I'll set thee free for this.
Sir?
O sure the goddess on whom these airs attend. Vouchsafe my prayers may know if you remain upon this isle, and will some good instruction give how I may bear me here. My prime request which I do last pronounce. Oh, you wonder, whether you be maid or no.
No wonder, sir, but certainly a maid.
My language. Heavens, I am the best of them that speak the speech, were I but where it is spoken.
How? The best? What wert thou if the King of Naples heard thee?
A single thing, as I am now, that wonders to hear thee speak of Naples. Myself am Naples, whom with mine eyes never since it ever beheld the king my father's wrath.
Alack for mercy.
Yes, faith. And all his lords, the Duke of Milan and his bravest son being twain.
The Duke of Milan and his more braver daughter can control thee if now 'twere fit to do it. The very sight they have changed eyes. Telecateri, I'll set thee free for this. A word, good sir. I fear you have done yourself some wrong. A word.
Why speaks my father so ungently? This is the third man that e'er I saw, the first that e'er I sighed for. Pity move my father to be inclined my way.
Oh, the virgin in your affection not gone forth. I'll make thee the Queen of Naples.
Soft, sir, one word more. They are each in each other's powers. Yet this swift business I must uneasy make, lest too light winning make the prize light. Sir, I charge thee that thou attendst me. If thou dost here usurp the name thou owest not, and dost come on this isle as a spy, to win it from me the Lord on it.
No, as I am a man.
There's nothing ill can dwell in such a temple. If the ill spirits have so fair a house, good things will strive to dwell with it.
Sweet, now silence. Don't speak for him. He is a traitor. Thy neck and feet all manacled together. Sea water thou shalt drink. Your food shall be the fresh brook mussels, withered roots and husks wherein the acorn is cradled. Follow.
No! I will resist such entertainment till mine enemy has more power.
Dear father, make not your utter trial of him, for he is gentle and not fearful.
What? My foot, my tutor? Put thy sword up, traitor. Thou who makest a show but darest not strike. Thy conscience is so possessed with guilt. Come from thy ward, for with this stick I can here disarm thee. Make thy weapon drop.
Beseech you, father.
And take not on my garment.
Sir, have pity, I'll be a surety.
Silence! One word more shall make me chide thee, if not hate thee. What? An advocate for an impostor? Thou thinkest there no such shapes as he, having seen but him and Caliban. Foolish wench! To the most of men this is a Caliban, and they to him are angels.
My ambitions are then most humble, for I have no ambition of seeing a goodlier man.
Come on, obey. Thy nerves are in their infancy again and have no vigor in them.
So they are. My spirits, as if in a dream, are all bound up. But the loss of my father, the weakness that I feel, and the loss of all my friends, nor this man's threats, are but light to me. Might I but through my prison once a day behold this maid, all corners else of the world. Space enough have I in such a prison.
It works. Thou hast done well, my fine Ariel. Come, follow.
Have comfort. My father's of a better nature, sir, than he appears by speech. This is unwonted which now came from him.
Thou shalt be as free as mountain winds, but only then do all points in my command.
To the syllable.
Come, follow.
Beseech you, sir, you have cause so be all of joy, for our escape is much beyond our loss. Our hint of woe is common. Every day some sailor's wife, the master of some merchant, and the merchant have just our theme of woe. But for the miracle, I mean our preservation, few in millions can speak like us. Then wisely, good sir, weigh our sorrow with our comfort.
Prithee, peace.
You refuse comfort, I called for it. The visitor will not give him more, so.
Look, he's winding up the watch of his wit. By and by 'twill strike.
Sir,
What? Tell.
when every grief is entertained, comes to the entertainer,
$1.
dollar comes to him indeed. You've spoken truer than you purposed.
You have taken it wiselier than I intended.
Therefore, my good lord,
Why, what a spendthrift to be in his tongue.
Well, I've done, but yet...
He will be talking.
Which of he or Adrian, for a good wager, first begins to crow?
The old cock.
The cockerel.
Done the wager.
Aloft.
A match.
Though this island seemed to be desert,
And so you paid.
uninhabitable and almost inaccessible,
Yet.
yet
He could not miss.
there must needs be of a tender, subtle, more delicate temperance.
Temperance was a delicate wench.
Aye, and the subtle she most learnedly delivered.
The air breathes upon us here most sweetly.
As if it had lungs. Rotting ones.
Or as 'twere perfumed by a fen.
Here's everything advantageous to life.
Save means to live.
Of that there's none a little.
See how lush and lusty the grass looks. How green.
The ground indeed is tawny.
With an eye of green in it.
He misses not much.
He doth but mistake the truth totally.
But the rarity of it is, which is indeed almost beyond credit,
As many vouched rarities are.
is that our garments, being as they were drenched in the sea, hold notwithstanding the fresh new gloss, being rather new dyed than stained with salt water. Methinks our garments now as fresh as when we put them on first at the marriage of our king's fair daughter Claribel to the king of Tunis.
You cram these words into my ears against the stomach of my senses. Would I had never married my daughter there. For coming thence my son is lost, and she too, who is so far from Italy removed, I never again shall see her. O thou'st mine heir of Naples and Milan, what strange fish has made a meal on thee?
Sir, he may live. I saw him beat the surges under him and ride upon their backs. He trod the water whose enmity he flung aside, and breasted the surge most swollen that met him. His bold head bore the contentious waves he kept, and oared himself with good arm and lusty stroke to the shore, that o'er his wave-worn basis bode, as stooping to relieve him, I no doubt he came alive to land.
No, no, he's gone.
My lord, you may thank yourself for this great loss that you would not bless our Europe with your daughter, but rather lose her to an African, where she at least is banished from your eye, which has cause to wet the grief on it.
Prithee spare.
You are kneeled to and importuned otherwise by all of us, and the fair soul itself weighed between loathness and obedience, which into the beam to bow. We've lost your son, I fear, forever. Milan and Naples have more widows in them of this business is making than we bring men to comfort them. The fault's your own.
So is the dearest of the loss.
My lord Sebastian, the truth you speak doth lack some gentleness, and the time to speak it in. You rub the sore, and you should bring the plaster.
Very well.
And most urgently.
It is foul weather in us all, sir, when you are cloudy.
Foul weather?
Very foul.
Had I a plantation of this isle,
He'd soaked with nettle seed.
Or docks or mallows.
and with a king on it, what would I do?
Escape being drunk for want of wine.
I would, by contract, execute all things. No kind of traffic would I admit. No name of magistrate. Letters should not be known. Riches, poverty, or use of service, none. Contract, succession, born, bound of land, tilth, vineyard, none. No use of metal, corn, or wine, or oil, no occupation. All men idle, and women too, but innocent and pure. No sovereignty.
And yet you would be king on it.
The latter end of his commonwealth forgets the beginning.
But all things in common nature should produce without sweat or endeavor. Treason, felony, sword, pike, knife, gun, and use of any engine would I not have. But nature should bring forth of its own kind, all abundance, all poison to feed my innocent people.
No marrying among his subjects.
None, man, all idle, whores and knaves.
I will with such perfection, sir, govern to excel in the golden age.
Save his majesty.
Long live Gonzalo.
And, do you mark me, sir?
Prithee no more, thou dost talk nothing to me.
I do well believe, your majesty, and did to minister occasion to these gentlemen, who are of such sensible and nimble lungs, that they always used to laugh at nothing.
'Twas you we laughed at.
Who in this merry kind of fooling am nothing to you. So you may continue, and laugh at nothing still.
What a blow was there given.
On it had not fallen flat long.
You are gentlemen of brave metal. You would lift the moon out of a sphere if you'd stay in it 5 weeks without changing.
We would so, and then go a bat fouling.
Nay, good my lord, be not angry.
Nay, I warrant you, I would not adventure my discretion so weakly. Will you laugh me asleep? For I am very heavy.
Go sleep and hear us.
What, all so soon asleep? I wish mine eyes would with themselves shut up my thoughts. I find they're inclined to do so.
My lord, do not omit the heavy offer of it. It seldom comes to a sorrow. When it does, it is a comfort.
We too, my lord, will guard your person while you take your rest, and watch your safety.
Thank you. Wondrous heavy.
What a strange drowsiness possesses them.
'Tis the quality of the climate.
Why then do not my eyelids sink? I find not myself disposed to sleep.
Nor I. My spirits are nimble. They fell together all as by consent. They dropped as by thunderstroke. What might, worthy Sebastian, what might? No more. And yet, methinks I see it in thy face what thou shouldst be. The occasion speaks thee, and my strong imagination sees a crown dropping upon thy head.
What? Art thou waking?
Do you not hear me speak?
I do, and surely 'tis a sleepy language, and thou speaks out of thy sleep. What a strange repose is this? Standing, speaking, moving, and yet so fast asleep.
Noble Sebastian, thou lett'st thy fortune sleep. Die, rather, winks while thou art waking.
Thou dost snore distinctly. There's meaning in thy snores.
I am more serious than is my custom. You must be so too, if heed me, which to do troubles thee all.
While I'm standing water.
I will teach you how to flow.
Do so. To ebb hereditary sloth, instruct me.
If you but knew how you the purpose cherished, what thus you mock it, how in stripping it you more invest it. Ebbing men indeed do so most often near the bottom, run by their own fear or sloth.
Prithee, say on. Setting of thine eye and cheek do proclaim a matter from thee. A birth indeed, which throws thee much to yield.
Thus, sir, although this lord of weak remembrance, this who would be of as little memory when he is earth, hath here almost persuaded, for he is the spirit of persuasion, the king his son's a lie. 'Tis as impossible that he's undrowned as that he that sleeps here swims.
I've no hope he's undrowned.
Oh, out of that hope, no. What great hope have you? No hope that way is another way, so high a hope that even ambition cannot pierce a week beyond. But doubt's discovery there. Will you grant with me that Ferdinand is drowned?
He's gone.
Tell me then, who is the next heir of Naples?
Clarabelle.
She that is queen of Tunis. She that dwells 10 leagues beyond man's life. She that from Naples can have no note unless the sun were post. She that by whom we are all sea-swallowed, though some cast again, and by that destiny to perform an act of what's past is prologue, and what's to come in yours and mine discharge.
What stuff is this? How say you? 'Tis true my brother's daughter's queen of Tunis, and so of Naples, twixt which regions there is some distance.
A distance whose every cubit seems to cry out, how shalt that Clarabelle measure us back to Naples? Keep in Tunis, and let Sebastian wake. Say this were death that now hath seized them. They were no worse off than they art now. Here lies your brother, no better than the ground he sleeps upon, whom I, with this obedient steel, 3 inches of it, can lay to rest forever. And you, doing thus to the perpetual wink, might put this ancient morsel, this prudence. As for the rest, they'll take suggestion of the cat-lap's milk. They'll tell the clock to any business we say befits the hour.
Thy case, dear friend, shall be my precedent. As thou gott'st Milan, I'll come by Naples. Draw thy sword. One stroke shall free thee from the tribute that thou payest, and I, thy king, shall love thee.
Draw together, and when I rear my hand, do ye the like to fold on Gonzalo.
Oh, but one word.
My master through his oft foresees the danger that you, his friend, are in, and sends me forth, or else his project dies, to keep them living. While you here do snoring lie, open-eyed conspiracy his time doth take. If of life you keep a care, shake off slumber and beware. Awake, awake!
Then let us both be silent.
Now, good angels, preserve the king! Why, how now? Oh, awake! Why are you drawn? Wherefore this ghastly looking?
Whilst we stood here, securing your repose, we did hear a hollow burst of bellowing like bulls, or rather lions. It does not wake you? It struck mine ear most terribly.
I heard nothing.
Oh, 'twas it didn't make an earthquake. But surely 'twas a whole herd of lions.
Heard you this, Gonzalo?
Upon my honor, sir, I heard a humming, and that strange one too which did awake me. I shake to, sir, and cried. As mine eyes opened, I saw their weapons drawn. 'Tis best we stand upon our guard or quit this place. Let's draw our weapons.
Let's lead off this place and make further search.
Heavens keep your son from this beast, for here's sure the island.
Lead away.
sun sucks up from bogs, fins flats on prosper fall, and make him by inch meal a disease. Now his spirits hear me, and yet I needs must curse. But they'll nor pinch, nor fright me with urchin shows, nor leave me in the dark like a firebrand out of my way unless he bid 'em. But for every trifle they are set upon me, sometime like apes that mow and chatter at me, and after bite me, then like hedgehogs, which lie tumbling in my barefoot way, and mount their pricks at my footfall. Sometimes am I wound with adders, whom with their cloven tongues do hiss me into madness. Lo now, lo! Here comes a spirit of his, and to torment me for bringing wood in slowly. I'll fall flat, perchance he will not mind me.
Here's neither bush nor shrub to bear off any weather at all. And another storm brewing. I hear it sing of the wind. Yon same black cloud, yon huge one, looks like a foul bomb by that would shed his liquor. If it should thunder as it did before, I know not where to hide my head. Yon same black cloud cannot choose but fall by pailfuls. What have we here? A man or a fish? Dead or alive? A fish. He smells like a fish. A most ancient and fish-like smell. A kind of, not of the newest Poor John. A strange fish. Were I in England now, as I once was, and had but this fish painted, not a holiday fool there, but would give a piece of silver, there would this monster make a man. Or any strange beast there makes a man. Well, they will not give a doit to relieve a lame beggar. They will lay out 10 to see a dead Indian. Legged like a man, and fins like arms. Warm of my troth, I do now let loose my opinion. Hold it no longer, this is no fish, but an islander that had lately suffered by a thunderbolt. Alas, the storm has come again. My best way is to creep under his gabardine. There is no other shelter hereabout. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. There will I shroud till the dregs of the storm be past.
I shall no more to see. Here shall I die ashore. This is a scurvy tune to sing at a man's funeral. Well, here's my comfort. The master, the swabber, the boatswain and I, the gunner and his mate, love Moll, Meg, Marjorie and Marion, but none of us cared for Kate. For she had a tongue with a tang, and cried to her sailor, go hang. She loved not the savour of tar nor pitch, yet a tailor could scratch her where she did itch. Let her say, boys, and let her go hang. This is a scurvy tune, too. Well, here's my comfort.
Do not torment me. Oh.
What's the matter? Have we devils here? Do you put tricks of pawns with savages and men of Indy ha? I have not escaped trying to be afeard of your 4 legs. For it hath been said, a proper man as ever went on 4 legs shall give ground. And so it shall be said so again, while Stefano breathes at nostrils.
The spirits torment me. Oh.
This monster with his 4 legs has got like taken in a gew. Where the devil should he learn our language? If I can recover him, and keep him tame, and get to Naples with him, he shall prove a present for any emperor ever trod on its leather.
Do not torment me, prithee. I'll bring my wood home faster.
He's in his fit now, and does not talk after the wisest. He shall drink of my bottle. If you have no dog wide afford to go near to him with his fit. Come, amen, I'll pour some in thy mouth. Open your chaps again. You cannot tell who's your friend. This will shake your shaking. Open your chaps again. Open your chaps again.
I should know that voice, but he is drowned, and these are devils. Oh, defend me!
4 legs and 2 voices? A most delicate monster. His backward voice is to speak well of his friend. His forward voice is to utter foul speeches and to detract. Come, amen. I'll pour some in thy other mouth. Stefano! Does thy other mouth call me? Mercy, mercy, the devil in the monster. I will leave him. I have no long spoon.
Stefano, if thou beest Stefano, touch me and speak to me, for I am Trinculo. Be not afeard, thy good friend Trinculo.
If thou beest Trinculo, come forth. I'll pull thee by thy lesser legs. If any legs are Trinculo's, these are they. Thou art made Trinculo indeed. How camest thou to be under the siege of this moon cow? Can he be Trinculo's?
I took him to be killed by a thunderstroke, but art thou not drowned, Stefano? I hope now that thou art not drowned. I hid me under the dead mooncalf's gabardine for fear of the storm. Is the storm overblown? But art thou living, Stefano? Oh, Stefano, to Neapolitan, escape!
Really, do not turn me about. My stomach is not constant.
Oh, these be fine things, and if they be not sprites. That's a brave god and bad celestial liquor. I will kneel to him.
How didst thou escape? How camest thou hither? I escaped upon a butter sack, which is as if overboard in the storm. And by this bottle, which I made out of my own hands, out of the bark of a tree when I was cast ashore.
I'll swear upon that bottle to be thy true subject, for thy liquor is not earthly.
Come, how didst thou escape?
Swim ashore, man, like a duck. I can swim like a duck, I'll be sworn.
Kiss the book. Though thou swimmest like a duck, thou art made like a goose.
Oh, Stefano, hast thou any more of these?
The whole butt, man. My cellar's in a rock by the seaside when my wine is hid. How now, Mooncalf? How does thine ague?
Hast thou not dropped from heaven?
How to the moon I do assure thee. Man, the moon when time was.
I have seen thee in her, and I adore thee. My mistress showed me thee, and thy dog, and thy bush.
Come, kiss the bottle.
By this good light. This is a very shallow monster. I have been of him a very weak monster, the man of the moon, a most poor credulous monster, well-drawn monster in good sooth.
I'll show thee every fertile inch of the island, and I'll kiss thy foot. I prithee be my guard.
By this light, the most perfidious and drunken monster, when gone to sleep, he'll rob his bottle.
I'll kiss thy foot. I'll swear myself thy subject.
Come down and swear.
I shall laugh myself to death at this puffy-headed monster, a most scurvy monster. I could find in my heart to beat him.
Come, kiss.
But that the monster's in drink, an abominable monster.
I'll show thee every fertile inch of the island, I prithee. I'll get thee wood enough, fish for thee, and pluck thee berries. A plague upon the tyrant that I serve. I'll bear him no more sticks, but follow thee, thou wondrous man.
A most ridiculous monster, to make a wonder of a poor drunkard.
I prithee, let me bring thee where crabs grow. And I, with my long nails, will dig thee pig nuts, show thee a jay's nest, and instruct thee how to snare the nimble marmoset. Sometimes I'll bring thee to clustering filberts, and sometimes I'll get thee young scammels from the rock. Wilt thou go with me?
Marry will I. Trinkino, the king and all the others being dead, we will inherit him. Here, bear my bottle. Then Trinkino will fill him by and by again.
Farewell, master. Farewell.
A drunken monster, a howling monster.
More and firing.
A drunken.
A renowned monster.
There be some sports are painful, but their labor delight in them and sets off. Some kinds of baseness are nobly undergone, and most poor matters point to rich ends. This, my mean task, would be as heavy to me as odious. But the mistress which I serve quickens what's dead, and makes my labors pleasures. Oh, she is 10 times more gentle than her father's craft, but he's composed of harshness. I must remove some thousands of these logs and pile them up upon a sole junction. My mistress weeps when she sees me work and says such baseness had never like an executor. I forget, but these sweet thoughts do even refresh my labors. Most busy least when I do it.
Alas, now pray you work not so hard. How with the lightning it burnt up those logs that you enjoined to pile. Pray now set it down and rest you. When this burns, 'twill weep for having wearied you. My father's hard at study. Pray now rest yourself. He's safe for these 3 hours.
Oh, most noble mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do.
If you'll sit down, I'll bear your logs the while. Pray give me that. I'll carry to the pile.
No, noble mistress. I'd rather crack my sinews and break my back than you should this dishonor undergo, while I sit lazy by.
It would become me as well as it does you. And I should do it with much more ease, for my good will is to it, and yours 'tis against.
Poor worm, thou art infected. This visitation shows it.
You look wearily.
No, noble mistress. 'Tis fresh morning with me when you are by at night. I do beseech you, chiefly that I might set it in my prayers. What is your name?
Miranda. Oh, my father, I have broke your has to say so.
Admired, Miranda. Indeed, the top of admiration worth what's dearest to the world. For many a lady I have eyed with best regard, and many a time the harmony of their tongues hath into bondage brought my too diligent ear. For several virtues have I liked several women, never any with such full soul, but some defect in them did quarrel with the noblest grace they owed, and put it to the foil. But you, oh you, so perfect and so peerless, are created of every creature's best.
I do not know one of my sex. No woman's face remember, save for my glass mine own. Nor have I seen more than I may call men than you, good friend. And my dear father, how features are abroad, I am skilless of. But by my modesty, the jewel of my dower, I would not wish any companion in the world but you. Nor can imagination form a shape besides yourself to like of. But I prattle something too wildly, and my father's precepts I therein do forget.
I am of my condition a prince, Miranda, or king. I would not so, and would no more suffer this wooden slavery than suffer thy flesh fly blow my mouth. Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you did my heart fly to your service. There it resides to make me slave to it. And for this am I your patient logman.
Do you love me?
O heaven, O earth, bear witness to this sound and crown what I profess with kind event. If wholly and virtuous best is bodied me to mischief. I beyond all limit else in the world do love, prize and honor you.
I am a fool to weep at what I am glad of.
Fair encounter of two most rare affections. Heavens rain grace on that which breeds between them.
Wherefore weep you?
If mine unworthiness, that dare not offer what I desire to give, and much less take what I shall die to want. But this is trifling, and all the more it seeks to hide itself the bigger bulk it shows. Hence, bashful cunning, and prompt me plain and holy innocence. I am your wife if you will marry me. If not, I'll die your maid. To be your fellow, you may deny me, but I'll be your servant whether you will or no.
My mistress dearest, and I thus humble ever.
My husband, then?
I, with a heart as willing ere a bondage of freedom. Here's my hand.
And mine, my heart in it. And now farewell till half an hour hence.
Thousands.
So glad this is they I cannot be, for surprised withal. But my rejoicing at nothing can be more. Yet I must to my books, for yet ere supper time must I perform much business appertaining.
When the butter's out, we'll drink water, not a drop before. Therefore, bear and boredom. Servant monster, drink to me.
Servant monster, the folly of this isle. They say there's but 5 upon this island. If the other 2 be brayed like us, the state totters.
Drink, servant monster, I bid thee. Thy eyes are almost set in thy head.
Where should they be set else? He were a brave monster if they be set in his tail.
My man monster hath drowned his tongue in sack. For my part, the sea cannot drown me. 35 leagues by this light I swam ashore. That shall be my lieutenant, monster, or my standard.
Your lieutenant, if you list, he's no standard.
Will not run, monsieur monster.
No go neither, but you'll lie like dogs and say nothing neither.
Mooncalf, speak us once in thy life, if thou beest a good mooncalf.
How does thy honor? Let me lick thy shoe. I will not serve him. He is not valiant.
Thou liest, most ignorant monster. While thou debauched fish thou, was there ever a man that has drunk so much sack as I today? Wilt thou tell a monstrous lie, being but half fish and half monster?
Lo, how he mocks me. Wilt thou let him, my lord?
Lord, quoth he, that a monster should be such a natural.
Drink it, oh, keep a good talk in thy head. You prove a mutineer the next tree.
The poor monster's my subject. He shall not suffer indignity.
I thank thee, my noble lord. Wilt thou be pleased to hearken once again a suit I made to thee?
Marry will I. Kneel and repeat it. I will stand, and so shall Trickolo.
As I told thee before, I am subject to a tyrant, a sorcerer, that by his cunning hath cheated me of the island.
Thou liest.
Thou liest, thou jesting monkey, thou! I would my valiant monster would destroy thee. I do not lie.
Trickolo, keep a good hug as I had, or by this hand I also plant some of your teeth.
Why, I said nothing.
Mum, then, can proceed.
As I say, by sorcery he got this isle. From me he got it. If thy greatness will revenge it on him, for I know thou darest, but this thing dare not.
That's most certain.
Thou shalt be lord of it, and I'll serve thee.
How canst thou bring me to the party?
Yea, I can bring thee to the party. I'll yield him thee asleep, where thou mayest knock a nail into his head.
Thou liest, thou canst not.
What a pie nil is this, thou scurvy patch? I do beseech thy greatness, give him blows and take his bottle from him. When that's gone, he'll drink naught but brine, for I'll not show him where the quick freshes are.
Trickolo, keep a good tongue in thy head, for by this hand I'll take thee out of doors and make a stockfish of thee.
Why, what did I? I did nothing. I'll go farther off.
Didst thou not say he lied?
Thou liest.
Do I so? Take thou that. Now give us the lie again.
I did not give thee the lie. Had your wits in hearing too. A pox your bottle. This can sack and drinking do. A murrain on your monster, the devil take your fingers.
Come proceed. Stand further off.
Now beat him enough. After a little time, I'll beat him too.
Stand further. Come proceed.
As I told thee, 'tis a custom with him in the afternoon to sleep. There thou mayest brain him, having first seized his books. Or with a log, batter his skull, or punch him with a stake, or cut his weasel with thy knife. Remember first to possess his books, for without them he is but a sot, as I am. Nor hath one spirit to command. They all do hate him as rootedly as I. Burn but his books. He has brave utensils, for so he calls them, which when he has a house he'll deck withal. And, that most deeply to consider, is the beauty of his daughter. He himself calls her a nonpareil. I never saw a woman but Sycorax, my dam, and she. But she is far surpasseth Sycorax, as greatest does least.
Is it so brave a lass?
Aye, Lord. She will become thy bed, I warrant, and bring thee forth brave brood.
Monster, I will kill this man. Trickolo and thy sorcery viceroys. Trickolo. Trickolo, does thou like the plan?
Excellent.
Give me thy hand. I am sorry I beat thee, but remember to keep a good tongue in thy head.
Within this half hour he will be asleep. Wilt thou destroy him then?
Marry will I.
Ah, thou makest me merry. I am full of pleasure. Let us be jocund. Will you try the catch you taught me a while ere?
Marry will I. Let us sing. Flout him and scout him and scout him and flout him. Thought is free!
That's not the tune.
What is the same? This is the twin of our cats, played by the picture of nobody.
But thou bist a man, show thyself. Thou bist a devil taken as thou least.
Oh, forgive me my sins.
He that dies pays all debts.
Art thou afeard?
No, monster, not I.
Be not afeard. This isle is full of noises, sounds, and sweet airs, which give delight and hurt not. Sometimes 1,000 twanging instruments will hum about mine ears, and sometimes voices that, if I then had waked after a long sleep, would make me sleep again. And sometimes methought the clouds would open up and show riches ready to drop upon me, that when I waked, I cried to dream again.
This will prove a brave kingdom. For I can have my music for nothing.
When Prospero was destroyed.
I remember the story.
The sound is going away. Let's follow and after do our work.
Monster, lead on. When I could see this tabor, he surely lays it on.
We'll come, and I'll follow Stefano.
By a larkin's I can go no further. My old bones ache. Thither maze trod indeed by forthright meanders. By your patience, I needs must rest me.
I cannot blame thee, who am myself attached with weariness to the dulling of my spirits. Sit down and rest. He is lost whom we stray to find, and the sea mocks our frustrate search on land. Well, I say, let him go.
I am right glad they are so out of hope. Do not for one repulse forgo the purpose you have resolved to effect.
The next opportunity will we take thoroughly.
That'd be tonight, for they are pressed with travel, and they will not, nor cannot, use such vigilance as when they are fresh.
I say tonight, no more.
What harmony is this, my good friends? Hark!
Marvelous sweet music.
Heavens, what were these?
A living drollery. Now I will believe they're unicorns, that in Arabia there is one tree, the phoenix throne. One phoenix at this hour reigning there.
I'll believe both, and what does else want credit come to me, and I'll be sworn 'tis true. For travellers ne'er did lie, though fools at home condemn them.
If in Naples I should report this now, would they believe me? If I should say I saw such islanders, for says these are people of the island, who of a monstrous shape, yet know their manners are more gentle, more kind than any of our human generation, many, nay, almost any.
Honest Lord, thou hast said well, but there are some here present that are worse than devils.
I cannot too much muse, such shape, such gesture, such sound, expressing, although the want the use of a tongue, a sort of excellent dumb discourse.
Praise in departing.
They vanish strangely.
No matter, since they left their veins behind and we have stomachs. Will't please you, my lord, to partake of what is here?
Not I.
Faith, sir, do not fear. When we were boys, who would have believed our mountaineers do lap like bulls, whose throats had hangeth than wallets of flesh, or there were men whose heads stood in their breasts, as now we find Parafai would bring us good warrant of.
I will stand to and feed, for I feel the best is past. My brother, Lord the Duke, stand to and do as we.
Instrument this lower world and what is in it. The never surfeited sea has caused to belch up you, and on this island where man doth not inhabit, you amongst men being most unfit to live. I have made you mad, and even with such like valor, men hang and drown their proper selves. You fools! I and my fellows are ministers of fate. The elements of whom your swords are tempered may as well wound the loud winds, or with me mock at stabs kill the still closing waters, as diminish one dow that's in my plume. My fellow ministers alike invulnerable. If you could hurt, your swords are now too massy for your strengths and will not be uplifted. But remember, for that's my business to you, that you three from Milan did sup that good Prospero, exposed unto the sea which hath requited him, his innocent child, for which foul deed the powers delaying, not forgetting have incensed the seas and shores, yea, all the creatures against your peace. Thee of thy son Alonso they have bereft, and do pronounce by me lingering perdition, worse than any death can be at once, shall step by step attend you in your ways, whose wrath to guard you from, which here, on this most desolate isle, is nothing but hot sorrow and a clear life ensuing.
This harpy hast thou performed, my Ariel. Grace it had devouring. Of my instruction hast thou nothing bated in what thou hadst to say. So, with good life and observation strange, my meaner ministers their several kinds have done. And these, my enemies, are all knit up in their distractions. They are now in my power, and in these fits I leave them, while I visit young Ferdinand, whom they suppose is drowned, and his and mine loved darling.
In the name of God Holy Sir, why stabbed you with a strange stare?
Oh, it was monstrous, monstrous! Methought the billow spoke and told me of it. The wind did sing it to me, and the thunder, that deep and dreadful organ pipe, did pronounce the name Prosper. It did base my trespass. Therefore my son in the ooze is bedded, and I shall seek him deeper than air plummet sounded, and with him there lie mudded.
But one fiend at a time, I'll fight their legions o'er.
I'll be thy second.
All three of them are desperate. Their geek built like poison given to a great time after, now begins to bite the spirit. I do beseech you, those supper joints, follow them swiftly, and hinder them from what ecstasy may now provoke them to.
Follow, I pray you.
If I have too austerely punished you, your compensation makes amends. For I give thee now here a third of mine own life, all that for which I live, who once again I tender to thy hand. All thy vexations were but trials of my love, now strangely stood the test. Here, before heaven I ratify this, my rich gift. O Ferdinand, do not smile at me that I boast wrath, for thou shalt find she will outstrip all praise, and make it halt behind her.
I do believe it against an oracle.
Then is my gift, thine own acquisition worthily purchased. Take my daughter. But, if thou dost break her virgin knot, before all sanctimonious ceremonies, may with full and holy rite be ministered, then no sweet aspersions shall the heavens let fall upon this contract. But barren hate, sour-eyed disdain, and discord should bestrew the union of your bed with weeds so loathly that you shall hate it both. Therefore take heed, as Hymen's lamp shall light you.
As I wish for a long life, for such love as 'tis now. The most opportune place, the murkiest den, the strongest suggestion our worst genius can, shall never melt mine honor into lust, to take away the edge of that day's celebration, when I shall think Phoebus' steeds will be founded, and night, a chain below.
Fairly spoke. Sit then, and talk with her. She is thine own. Ariel, my industrious servant. Ariel.
What would my potent master? Here I am.
Thou and thy meaner servants my last service did worthily perform, and I must ask you of another such trick. Go bring the rabble over whom I give thee power here to this place. Incite them to quick motion, for I must bestow upon this young couple some vanity of mine art. It is my promise, and they expect it of me.
Presently?
I with the twink.
Before you can say come and go, and breathe twice and cry so-so, each one tripping on his toe will be here with mop and mow. Do you love me, master, no?
Dearly, my delicate Ariel, do not come till thou hast heard me call.
Well, I conceive.
Look thou be true. Do not give dalliance too much the rein. The strongest of oaths are but straw to the fire and the blood. Be more abstemious, or else good night your vow.
I warrant you, sir, the white cold virgin snow upon my heart abates the ardor of my liver.
Well, Ariel, bring a corollary rather than want a spirit. Appear pertly, no tongue, all eyes, be silent.
Ceres, most bounteous lady, thy thy rich fleece of wheat, rye, barley, fetches, oats, and peas, thy turfy mountains where live nibbling sheep, and flat reeds thatched with stove of them to keep, thy banks with paeans and twilled brims, which spongy April at thy Hespe trims, to make cold nymphs chaste crowns in thy broom groves, whose shadow the dismissed bachelor loves, being last lorn thy pole-clipped vineyard, and thy sea-marge, sterile and rocky hard, where thou thyself dost stare, the queen of the sky, whose watery ark and messenger am I, bids thee leave these, and with her sovereign grace, here on this grass plot, in this very place, to come and sport her peacocks fly amain, a partridge series her to entertain.
Hail, many-colored messenger, that near dost disobey the wife of Jupiter, who with thy saffron wings upon thy flowers diffuses honey drops, refreshing flowers, with each end of thy blue bow dost crown my bosky acres and my unshrubed down, rich scarf to my proud earth. Why hath thy queen summoned me here to this short grass green?
A contract of true love to celebrate, and some donation freely to estate on the blessed lovers.
Tell me, heavenly bow, if Venus or her son, as thou dost know, do now attend the queen, since they did plot that dusky dish my daughter got, her and her blind boy scandaled company, I have forsworn.
Of her society be not afraid. I met her deity cutting the clouds towards Paphos, and her son dove-drawn with her. Here thought they to have done some wanton charm upon this man and maid, whose vows are that no bed right shall be paid, till Hymen's torch be lighted but in vain. Mars's hot minion is returned again. Her waspish-headed son has broke his arrows, swears he will shoot no more, but play with sparrows, and be a boy right out.
Highest queen of state, great Juno comes. I know her by her gait.
How does my beauteous sister? Go with me to bless this twain, that they may prosperous be, and honored in their issue. Honor, riches, marriage, blessing, long continuance and increasing. Hourly joys be still upon you. Juno sings her blessings on you.
Earth's increase, boys in plenty, barns and garners never empty. Vines with clustering bunches growing, plants with goodly burden bowing. Spring come to you at the farthest, in the very end of harvest. Scarcity and what shall shun you? Ceres' blessing so is on you.
This is a most majestic vision, and harmoniously charming. Am I bold to think these spirits?
Spirits, which by mine art I have called from their confines, to enact my present fancies.
What a wondrous place. Let me live here ever. Such a wise father. Makes this place a paradise.
Sweet, now silence. Juno and Ceres whisper seriously. There's something else to do. Hush and be mute, or else all spell is marred.
You nymphs called naiads of the winding brooks, with your sedged crowns and ever harmless looks, leave your crisp channels, and on this green land, answer your summons, Juno does command. Come, temperate nymphs, and help to celebrate a contract of true love. Be not too late. You sunburnt sicklemen of August weary, come hither from the furrow and be merry. Make holiday, your rye straw hats put on, and these fresh nymphs encounter everyone in country footing.
conspiracy against my life. The very minute that their plot has come. Well done. Avoid no more.
This is strange. Your father's in some passion that works him strangely.
Never till this day saw I him touched with anger so distempered.
You do look, my son, in a moved sort, as if you were dismayed. Be cheerful, sir. All revels have now ended. These, my actors, as I foretold you, are but spirits, and they're melted into air, to thin air. And like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, yea, all which it inherit, shall dissolve. And like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with sleep. Sir, I am vexed, beareth my weakness. Be not disturbed by my infirmity. If you be pleased, retire into my cell and there repose. I turn into our walk to still my beating mind.
We wish your peace.
Come with a thought. Ariel, I thank thee, come.
Thy thoughts I cleave to, what's thy pleasure?
Spirit, we must prepare to meet with Caliban.
I, my commander. When I first presented Ceres, I thought to have told thee of it, but I feared lest I might anger thee.
Say again, where didst thou leave these varlets?
I told you, sir. They were red hot with drinking, so full of valor that they smote the air, for breathing in their faces beat the ground, for kissing of their feet, yet always bending towards their product. Then I beat my tabor, at which like unvexed colts they pricked their ears, advanced their eyelids, and lifted up their noses as they smelt music. So I charmed their ears, that calf like they my lowing followed through, toothed briars, sharp fezzes, pricking goss and thorns, which entered their frail shins. At last I left them in the filthy mantled pool beyond your cell, there dancing up their chins, that the foul lake o'er stunk their feet.
Thou hast done well, my bird. Thy shape invisible retain thou still. The trumpery in my house. Go bring it hither for stale to catch these thieves.
I go.
The devil, a born devil, on whose nature nurture can never stick, on whom my pains humanely taken, all lost, quite lost, and with age his body uglier grows, so his mind cankers. I will plague them all, even to roaring. Come, hang them on this line.
Softly. At the blind moment, I hear a footfall. We are now near his cell.
Monster, your fairy, which you said was a harmless fairy, is done little better than played a jack with us.
Monster, I do smell all horse piss, at which my nose is in great indignation.
So is mine. Look, monster, if I should take this pleasure against you, look, you.
Thou art but a lost monster.
Good, my lord, give me thy favor still. For the prize I'll bring to thee shall hoodwink this mischance. Therefore speak softly. All's hushed as midnight yet.
Aye, but to lose our bottles in the pool.
There's not only disgrace and dishonor in that monster, but an infinite loss.
That's more to me than my wetting. But this is your harmless fairy monster.
I would fetch off my bottle, though I be over ears for my labor.
Really, my king, be quiet. Seest thou there? That is the mouth of the cell. No noise and enter. Do that good mischief, which may make this thine own island forever. And I thy Caliban, for I thy footlicker.
I do begin to have bloody thoughts.
Oh, King Stephano, oh, peer, oh, worthy Stephano. Look what a wardrobe here is for thee.
Let it alone, thou fool, this is but trash.
Oh, ho, monster, we know what belongs to a frippery. Oh, King Stephano.
Oh, give me that gown. By this hand I shall have that
Thy
gown.
grace shall have it.
The dropsy drown this fool. What dost thou mean to dote us on such luggage? Let alone and do the murder first. If he awake, from toe to crown, he'll fill our skins with pinches, make us strange stuff.
Be you quiet, monster. Mistress One, is this not my jerkin? Now the jerkin is under the line. Now the jerkin is like to lose a tail and prove of all dirt.
Do, we steal by line and level. I'd like your grace.
Thank thee for the jest. Here's a garment, boy, which shall not go unrewarded while I am king of this country. Steeled by line and level is an excellent pass of paint. Here's another garment, boy.
Monster, come put some lime upon your fingers, and away with the rest.
I'll have none on it. We shall lose our time and be turned to barnacles, or to apes with foreheads villainous low.
Monster, come to carry this to where my hogshead of wine is, and I'll turn thee out of my kingdom. Don't you carry that?
And this.
Aye, and this.
Aye, and this. And this.
Hey, Martin, hey! Sultaness teaches with aged crabs, and more pinch spotted, make them encamped on Palo Mountain.
How they roar!
At this hour lie at my mercy all mine enemies. Now does my project gather to a head. My charms crack not, my spirits obey, and time goes upright with this carriage. How's the day?
On the 6th hour, at which time, my lord, you said our work should cease.
I did say so when first I'd raised the Tempest. Say, my spirit, how fares the king and his followers?
Confined together in the same fashion as you gave in charge. Just as you left them, all prisoners, sir. In the lime grove which weather fends your cell, they cannot budge for your release. The king, his brother, and yours abide all three distracted, and the remainder mourning over them, brimful of sorrow and dismay. But chiefly him that you termed, sir, the good old Lord Gonzalo. His tears went down his beard like winter's drops from eaves of reeds. Your charm so strongly works him, that if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender.
Dost thou think so, spirit?
Mine would, sir, were I human.
And mine shall. Hast thou, which art but air, a touch, a feeling of their afflictions? And shall not myself, one of their kind, that relish passions all as sharply as they, be kindly removed than thou art? Though with their high wrongs I'm struck to the quick, with my nobler reason against my fury do I take part. The rare action is in virtue than in vengeance. They being penitent, the sole drift of my purpose doth extend, not to frown further. Go release them, Ariel. My charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall be themselves.
I'll fetch them, sir.
Ye elves, hills, brooks, standing lakes and groves, ye that on the sands with princeless foot to chase the ebbing Neptune and to fly him when he comes back. You dare my puppets, and as by moonshine do the green sour ringlets make, whereof the ooh not bites. And you, whose pastime is to make midnight mushrooms that rejoice to hear the solemn curfew, by whose aid, weak masters though ye be, I have bedimmed the noontime sun, called forth the mutinous winds, and twixt the green sea and the azured vault set roaring war. To the dread rattling thunder have I given fire, and by the spurs plucked up the pine and cedar. Grazed at my command, have waked their sleepers, oped, and let them forth by my so potent art. But this rough magic I here abjure, for when I required some heavenly music, which even now I do, to work mine end upon their senses, that this airy charm is for, I'll break my staff, bury it certain fathoms in the earth, and deeper than did ever plummet sound, I'll drown my book. A solemn air, the best comfort to an unsettled fancy. Here thy brains, now useless, spoiled within thy skull. There stand for your spell stopped. Holy Gonzalo, honorable man, mine eyes sociable even to the show of thine, fall fellowly drops. Good Gonzalo, a loyal sir to him thou followest. I will pay thy graces home, both in word and deed. Most cruelly didst thou, Alonso, use me and my daughter. Thy brother was a further in the act. Thou art pinched for it now, Sebastian. Flesh and blood,
You brother mine, that entertained ambition, expelled remorse in nature, who with Sebastian, whose inward pinches therefore almost strong, would here have killed your king. I do forgive thee, unnatural though thou art. That understanding begins to swell, and will shortly fill the reasonable tide that now lies foul and muddy. Not one of them that yet looks on me would know me. Ariel, I will discase me and myself present as I was some time alone. Quickly, spirit, thou shalt be free.
Where the bee sucks, there suck I. In a cowslip's bell I lie. There I couch when owls do cry. On a bird's back I do fly. Merrily, merrily.
Thou send well, my bird. Thy shape invisible retain thou still. Man is asleep under the hatches. Bring them here. Presently, I prithee.
I'll drink the air before me, and return, or ere your pulse twice beat.
All trouble, toil, wonder, and amazement habits here. Some heavenly power guide us from this fearful country.
Behold, Sir King, the wronged Duke of Milan, Prospero. For more assurance that the living prince does now speak to thee, I embrace thy body, and to thee and thy company I bid a hearty welcome.
If thou beest here or no, or some enchanted trifle to abuse me, as late as I have been, I not know. Thy pulse beats as of flesh and blood. And since I saw thee, the affliction in my mind amends, with which I fear a madness held me. This must crave, and if this be at all, a most strange story. Thy dukedom I do resign and do entreat. Thou pardon me my wrongs, but tell me, how should Prospero be living and be here?
First, noble friend, let me embrace thine age, whose honor cannot be measured or confined.
But whether this be or not, swear.
You do yet taste of the subtleties of the isle, which will not let you believe things certain. Welcome, my friends all. But you, my brace of lords, were I so minded I could here pluck his highness's frown upon you, and justify you traitors. At this time I tell no tales.
The devil speaks in it.
No. For you, most wicked sir, even to call brother would infect my mouth. I do forgive thy rankest fault, all of them, and require of thee my dukedom, which perforce I know thou must restore.
If thou beest Prospero, then give us particulars of thy preservation. How thou hast met us here, who 3 hours since was racked upon this shore. How sharp the point of this remembrance is. I lost my dear son, Ferdinand.
I am woe for it, sir.
Irreparable is the loss, and patience says it is past a cure.
I would rather think you have not sought your help, for whose soft grace I have the like loss, and rest myself content.
You the like loss?
As great to me as late, and supportable have I the dear loss, means much weaker than you may call to comfort you, for I have lost a daughter.
A daughter? Oh, good heavens, they were living both in Naples, the king and queen there. I wish I myself were muddied in that oozy bed where my son lies. When did you lose your daughter?
In this last tempest. I perceive these ladies at this encounter do so much admire that they devour their reason. Their eyes do scarce offices of truth, their words are natural breath. But howsoever you have been jostled from your senses, know for certain that I am Prospero, that very duke, which was thrust forth in Milan, who on this isle, where you were racked, was landed to be the lord on it. Yet no more of this, for 'tis a chronicle of day by day, and not a relation for a breakfast, nor befitting this first meeting. Welcome, sir. This cell is my court. Here have I few attendants, and subjects none abroad. I pray you look in. My dukedom since last you have given me, I will requite you with as good a thing, to content ye as much as me my dukedom.
Sweet lord, you play me false.
No, my dearest love, I would not for the world.
Yes, for a score of kings and you should wrangle, and I would call it fair play.
If this prove a vision of the island, then one dear son I shall have lost twice.
A most high miracle.
Though the seas have threatened, I have cursed them without cause.
May all the blessings of glad father compass thee about. Arise, and tell me, how camest thou here?
Oh, wonder. How many goodly creatures are there here? How beauteous mankind is. Oh, brave new world that has such people in it.
'Tis new to thee. Tell me, who is this maid with apples of clay? The oldest acquaintance can't be 3 hours. Is she the goddess that has severed us and brought us thus together?
Sir, she's mortal. But by a mortal providence, she's mine. I chose her when I could not ask the advice of a father, nor thought I had one. She is daughter to this infamous Duke of Milan, of whom so often I have heard renowned but never seen, of whom through I have received a second life, and a second father. This lady makes him to me.
I am hers. But oh, how oddly it should sound that I must ask my child for forgiveness.
There, sir, stop. Let us not burden our remembrance with the heaviness that's gone.
I vainly wept, or she was spoken ere this. Look down, you gods, and on this couple drop a blessed crown, for it was you that chalked forth the way that brought us hither.
I say amen, Gonzalo.
Was Milan thrust from Milan, this issue should become kings of Naples. Oh, rejoice beyond a common joy and set it down with gold on lasting pillars. In one voyage declare bear her husband find at Tunis, and Ferdinand her brother a wife found where he himself was lost, and prosper his dukedom in a poor isle, and all of us ourselves where no man was his own.
Give me your hands. Let grief and sorrow still encompass the heart of he that does not wish you joy.
Be it so. Amen. Oh, look, sir, here is more of us. I prophesy if there were gallows on land, this fellow could not drown. Now blasphemy swears grace on board. Hast thou no oath on shore? Hast thou no mirth by land? What is the news?
The best news is that we have safely found our king and company. The next, our ship, which but 3 glasses since we gave out split, is tight in yard and bravely rigged as when we first put out to sea.
Sir, all this service have I done since I went.
My tricksy spirit.
These are not natural events, and they strengthen from strange to stranger. Tell me, how camest thou hither?
If I did think, sir, I were well awake, I'd strive to tell you. We were dead of sleep, and how we know not, all clapped under hatches, where, but even now with strange and several noises, of roaring, shrieking, howling, jingling chains, and more diversity of sounds, all horrible, we were awakened straightway at liberty, where in all her trim, freshly beheld, our royal good and gallant ship, our master, capering to eye her on a trice, so please you. Even in a dream were we divided from them and were brought moping hither.
Wast well done.
Bravely, my diligence. Thou shalt be free.
This is a strange amaze as ere men trod, and in this business there is more than nature was ever conduct of. Some oracle must rectify our knowledge.
Sir, my liege, do not infest your mind with the beatings on the strangeness of this business. At picked leisure, which shall be shortly, single all resolve you of ever these happened events. Till when be cheerful, and think of each thing well. Spirit, set Caliban and his companions free. Untie the spell. How fares my gracious sir? There yet some miss me of your company, some few odd lads that you remember not.
Every man shift for all the rest, and then no man take care for himself. Broad of fortune, Carraggio, bully monster, Carraggio.
If these be true spies which I wear in my head, is a goodly sight.
Oh, Setebos, these be brave spirits indeed. How fine my master is. I'm afraid he will chastise me.
What things are these, my Lord Antonio? Will money buy him?
Very like. One of them is a plain fish, and no doubt marketable.
Mark but the badges of these men, my lords, and saith they be true. This mishappen knave, his mother was a witch, and one so powerful could control the moon, make flows and ebbs, and deal in her command without her power. These 3 have robbed me, and this demi-devil, for he's a bastard one, had plotted with them to take my life. These 2 you must know and own. This thing of darkness, I acknowledge mine.
I shall be pinched to death.
Is this not my drunken butler, Stefano?
He is drunk now. Where had he wine?
And Trinculo is reeling right. Where is this grand liquor that hath gilded him? Tell me, how camest thou in this pickle?
I have been in such a pickle since I saw you last that I fear me will never out of my bones. I shall not fear fly blowing.
How now, Stefano?
Oh, touch me not. I'm not Stefano, but a cramp.
You would be king of the isle, sirrah.
I would have been a sore one then.
He is as disproportioned in his manner as in his shape. Go to my cell and take with you your companions. As you look to have my pardon, trim it handsomely.
Aye, that I will, and I'll be wise hereafter and seek for grace. What a thrice double ass was I to take this drunkard for a god, and worship this dull fool.
So, slave, hence.
And bestow your luggage where you found it. Or stole it, rather.
Sir, I invite your highness and your train here to my poor cell, where you shall take for rest this one night, which part of it I'll waste with such discourse as, I not doubt, shall make it go quick away, the story of my life, and the particular accidents gone by since I came to this isle. And in the morn I'll bring you to your ship, and so to Naples, where I hope to see the nuptial of these our dear beloved solemnized, and thence retire me to my Milan, where every third thought shall be my grave.
I long to hear the story of thy life, which much takes strangely to the ear.
I'll deliver all, and promise you calm seas, auspicious gales, and sails so expeditious that shall catch your royal fleet far off. Ariel, chick, that is thy charge. And then to the elements and be free. Fare thou well. Please you, draw near. Now my charms are all overthrown, and what strength I have's mine own, which is most faint. Now 'tis true, I must be here confined to you, or sent to Naples. Let me not, since I have my dukedom got, and pardon the deceiver dwell in this bare island by your spell. But release me from my bands with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to please. Now I want spirits to enforce, art to enchant, and my ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces so that it assaults mercy itself and frees all faults. As you from crimes would pardoned be, let your indulgences set me free.